What's going on YouTube? It's JB Tech Fanatic and I'm back again with another video. First, I want to start by saying thank you to each and every one of you for joining me today and watching my videos. I am honored that you're here, and for those of you that have subscribed, I am so honored and humbled that you've done so, and I hope that the rest of you will consider to subscribe to my channel also. Guys, we're back with part 3 with the Samsung Q9 2018. So far, guys, I have now spent some good time with this TV, and I have to say, wow. That's really all I can say, is just wow. This TV has wowed me in every single category, from picture quality to smart features. Today, I want to help you guys by doing a couple things. One, I'm going to show you guys some picture settings for different modes as far as watching movies or regular TV. And also, I'm going to cover some of the best smart features that this TV can do. Now, as we all know, Samsung has what we call the One Remote. This remote is small and sleek, but very powerful. And it does so many different things that you could not even imagine that something with so few buttons has on it could do. So we're going to definitely talk about that, but we're also going to talk about how this remote also is on your phone and what the difference is this year with the app for the Samsung SmartThings, because that is such a big piece going forward of Samsung's ecosystem. They have now built where you can have your refrigerator, your dishwasher, your washer, your dryer, your robotic vacuum. Everything is in one spot and could be viewed on your TV. So we're going to talk about these features, and I'm going to treat you guys to some settings for your picture. Guys, I'm so happy you're here with me. Let's get started with the Samsung 2018 Q9 Part 3. Alright guys, so a few things. As you can see, Samsung SmartThings is now built in to the TV fully, meaning that anything that you have connected, you could see. If you have water sensors, if you have front door, back door sensors, motion sensors, everything is here. You can also access the lighting in all the rooms that you have capable units in. And the best part is now the Ring doorbell can be viewed on your TV. So if someone comes to your house and rings the doorbell, you can see a live view of them right there on your TV. That is such a cool feature. Now, also, as you can see, I use the Bose SoundTouch, my favorite soundbar system ever made so far. You can also link that to this system. You can turn it on and off. You could use your multi-room audio by simply clicking on the icons. And other than that, you got your ACs. In this case, I got upstairs and downstairs, and my garage door. I can open and close it. I could see if my house garage door is closed. I mean, I can even start my vacuum right here on the TV. You know, you could start other TVs in the house that you have turned on. So anything you can control is right here on the screen. So with the One Remote is fun, and we've talked about that already. But on your phone, in this case, this is the Note 8, and I'll put some screenshots so you'll get a clearer view, but you have the full capabilities of the One Remote on your phone. So as I swipe on my phone, as you can see, everything will swipe over. If you need a guide or you want to turn the volume up, you could turn it up. It's all here. Now, the great thing about this is there is 3 little dots, and again, I'll show you up here. When you push those 3 dots, you are greeted with a lot of new features that are built into the app. So if you want to mirror, meaning let's just say you filmed your son's basketball game and you want to show the family the game, you simply would hit Smart View and pick whatever you would like on your phone. It's going to ask to connect and share it with the TV. So as you can see, it's now sharing my remote. We're going to see what this remote can do. we're going to hit those three little dots and look at everything we have. So we can see calendar, notifications, the universal guide setting. We also have the ambient background, the ambient settings. The ambient settings can be lightened or darkened here on the phone. You don't necessarily have to do it on the remote. Or you can do the whole TV setup again. But you can also do things like put the audio from your TV to your phone, or you could simply hit View TV on your phone. So let's just say that you were watching a movie and you have to go run around the house and you want to continue watching it on your phone. Your phone will connect to your TV and you will be able to watch the sports game or the movie or whatever you need right on your mobile device, and it's actually being casted from your TV. So guys, that's Samsung Smart Things on your phone, that's Samsung Smart Things on your TV, and in addition, now you get Samsung Smart Things with the built-in remote for each Samsung QLED TV you have in your house. Alright, so let's jump into some of the smart features that this Samsung TV has. We all know that Samsung has been doing smart TVs right for years, but this year they do have, a lot of extra features, and I really want to talk about a couple that I really like and that we use on a day-to-day basis in our house. The first one is the ability to be able to listen to Bluetooth headphones. Now, you're laying in bed at night, everyone's asleep, but you still want to watch your movie. Nothing's better than this. In the past, in the older days, you had to buy, certain headphones that had kind of this receiver tower that you set up. That's not the case anymore. Any Bluetooth headphones will work with this TV. It's real simple. You would just simply go into sound output. You would click on sound output, go to speaker list, go ahead and put your Bluetooth headphones in pairing mode. As soon as they're blinking, go ahead and pick speaker list. It will search, it will connect, and you're ready to go. This is a great feature. They also have a few things that when you're connected to your headphones, you can go drop down into expert settings and you can actually mess with the sound depending on the quality of the headphones as far as what it can do. So that is a nice thing also. It's not like you have to suffer poor quality sound. You can actually get really good audio out of headphones. So that's the first. The next is multi-output audio. And this is under accessibility. And what this is you can actually enable your TV speaker and your Bluetooth devices at the same time. This will be grayed out until you hook something up with Bluetooth. Once you do, you can turn that on, and this is actually a great thing to get more sound out of your TV and your sound bar. Real quickly, guys, another question that gets asked to me a lot is, how do you change the TV from being white to black? And actually, everything is found in this menu under accessibility. You obviously have some things that help you, like voice guide settings and stuff if you can't see well. But to change it to, it's kind of a grayish black, you just turn on high contrast, and this will change it from white to black with the white highlight. And then if you want everything larger, you just click enlarge. So let's move on to the next one. This year, Samsung is really amping up their ambient mode feature. Now, ambient mode is in the beginning stages. If you own a frame TV from last year, you probably are familiar with what this does, but more or less, it turns your TV into a photo. But on this particular TV, it does other things. Meaning you can actually have a clock. Let's see. You can do different photos. You can actually drop down, and here's like, let's go here to the settings. So obviously brightness can be different for everyone. So at nighttime, it doesn't have to be very bright. But if you're in a bright room and you want to be able to see this, what you would do is you hit back, you go to settings, you can actually change the brightness. As you can see, it gets very bright. You could drop it down to very dim. Well, almost off, right? But let's set this at about 4 so we could see it. Now the color tone, depending on the color of your wall, and you can change the color of your wall, by the way, by simply taking your Galaxy device, taking a photo of the wall. Here, let me throw a picture of that again up on the screen, but you can use the Samsung SmartThings in your phone as your remote to change these settings. But here in front of us on the TV, auto brightness, we'll go ahead and just shut that off for now, but that will adjust to, if you're in a bright room or not. But there you go, you got a photo. So when you back out, it's going to get black again here. You now can pick what photo you want. And let's just say we picked something like this. This basically will just tell you the time, it'll tell you the weather, excuse me, and it will just sit on your TV. It uses virtually no electricity. I mean, I think it was like $30 a year. And it does not suffer from any kind of burn-in, which of course would be something you would have to worry about on an OLED TV. And guys, I'm just showing you a couple of these. I know my camera's not great and it's, pitch black, so anything that you see that looks kind of off, it's actually just the lens having problems focusing. And it's really difficult this year because Samsung put that special layer in their TVs to get the blacker colors. But anyway, guys, this is definitely a cool feature. Your wife will love it. Ladies, you will love it. Your girlfriends, whatever. It just looks cool. Guys, you can put, sleek photos up here of different kinds. It's really cool. Next cool thing is your notifications, because of your smart home and the Samsung SmartThings, are all in one place. As you notice at the bottom left of the screen, it says notification. There's a little bell. So it says I have 2. So when I click on it, what will happen is it'll tell me what's going on. So my robot vacuum, it looks like it completed, and then at one point it was on an uneven surface, so it needed to be fixed. So anything that happens in your house, notifications will pop up like this for anything you have on Samsung SmartThings, which is really cool. And then when you're done, you go ahead and close those out. Next thing is, guys, is Bixby Voice. Now, in the past, you used to be able to do things with voice, but it's a little better now because the virtual assistant is actually built right into your remote. So you want to go ahead and push the voice remote button down. Let's see if I can actually can't get it in there real good, but I'll give you a photo up here so you can see it. You push that down and you can say things like, "What's the weather today?" And I have the volume off, but as you can see, it says it will be clear, and then boom, it kind of hits you with your entire weather, which is really cool. So you got your virtual assistant built right into your remote, which makes things awesome. And that brings me to my next point. The voice can work on certain things. As you can see on the bottom panel here, it says Dish, Xbox One, PS4. When you connect everything to these ports and they're powered on and your TV gets to find out what they are and calibrate to them, your remote actually can control these items, but in addition to that, you have full control on some items with your voice. So on Dish Network, you might be able to say, go straight to DVR or something in that fashion, and it would do so. Now, lots of updates will continue to come out for these services. This TV was just barely released, and they'll continue to get better. So that is another awesome thing that they do. Let's jump into the next one. So now we have TV Plus. Samsung has had this function as far as being able to stream movies from for a while, But now it looks like they've taken it a step further. They've kind of put everything into one category. So there's certain, movies or channels you want to watch. They're all here in one place, and you can use your one remote. And I'm assuming that pretty soon they're going to have all the services for you. And you'll be able to search Netflix and Hulu and everything all in one place. That way you don't have to flip, in the app or out of the app. Xbox has already done this. Dish pretty much does this also. Right now, the only limits to this is it's kind of who they have contracts with as far as who it will search. But it looks nice. It's laid out nice. You can use your one remote if a movie's on and it's something that you've watched before or you picked through. It lets you, example, pick your favorite sports teams. You will have these icons that pop up and it'll say, hey, the Cleveland Cavaliers are playing tonight at 5 o'clock. Or let's just say your favorite TV show is Seinfeld, then it's right here. You can press, hey, boom, let's watch Seinfeld. Then you have Bixby Voice. You can do things like, Bixby, is basketball on tonight? And as you can see, it's going to say search on TV, search on the web, or cancel. So if you do search on TV, it's basically going to use this system here to search, and this is how it is for everything. But the best part about this right now, besides Bixby Voice and being able to use the one remote really, really well, is the fact that you can actually pick what sports are your favorites and it will warn you when they're on so you never miss anything. Let's jump into the next. Next thing I really like is the actual Smart Hub. It's very fast, it's easy to use, and it has everything you could want. It's got YouTube, Netflix, Hulu. It has an app store where you can download games and apps. I really like the gallery feature. If you have an S9, an S9 Plus, Note 8, or any compatible phone, you can actually have it linked with your TV and you can look at all your photos right here on the TV. Google Chromecast is there. One thing I found really cool was with Netflix is that when I went into the Netflix account and I did the speed test, I was testing in the 300s as far as download speeds, and that is absolutely excellent speed for a TV. So Samsung obviously put in a very good Wi-Fi card for us, so that made me really happy. Another thing I really like is the fact that, again, the one remote controls everything, and that you can see each HDMI is named automatically when it is hooked up. As long as you have the devices powered on, then they will list them by name here for you, and you'll get a nice app underneath them. You'll be able to control everything with the one remote. And I wanted to show everyone something because I know a lot of people run into if something doesn't register when you're doing the setup. In the menu, guys, when you go to settings and you just click up and you go to the sources, if you go to this very end here, it says universal remote. Anything that you need to program, you can program right here. You simply click on universal remote. As soon as you're here, you can add a new device. Sorry, this is going to be hard to focus. There we go. You add new device, and then you can pick what you want. So whether it be a cable box, a home theater, gaming system, and this is where you'd set it up. When you're done setting it up, you can actually, let's get this to focus again. So example here, if you go to Xbox, you could do source setup. Once the source is set up, then it will ask you what sound system do you want to run with it. So let's just say you are using an optical source for your surround sound. You can actually pick Xbox One, pick the optical source so that your one remote controls and turns those two items on at the same time, so you don't have to flip back and forth and try to turn them on. So don't forget, if it doesn't register, this is where you want to set the remote up, and that will fix your problems as far as making sure everything turns on and off all together and that your one remote controls back in. Let's do some picture settings. Before I do these, I want to give a disclaimer. Every screen is going to be slightly different. To get the very best picture, you should pay someone to come to your house and calibrate your picture for you. Now, also, everyone's taste and likes are different than each other's. These are simply what I believe make my TV look the best, so I'd like to share them with you so that you can maximize your enjoyment and possibly not have to pay the cost to have someone come out and calibrate. First thing I want you to do is press the menu button on your One Connect and go to Settings. Let's start with Dynamic. Now, as you can see, where it says Dynamic to the left, you see HDR, which means a true HDR source is coming in to the screen right now. First thing that you want to always make sure is that you go down into General, you go to Eco Solution, and you shut off pretty much everything on here, except I leave the auto power off on just in case you forget about your TV. So go ahead and shut everything off, back out. Next thing I want you to do is go to the External Device Manager. In here you have the HDMI-CEC. Make sure that this is on. The next setting that this TV has is game mode. Now, a lot of TVs have game modes. Samsung, from what I am seeing, has a 15 millisecond response rate. So that is a killer for any kind of TV, especially, because you're spending the high dollar, you definitely want a mode like this, but they've taken it further. So you can have now game mode set to auto, and that is awesome because before you had to dig through the menus to turn it on, and if you're watching a movie in your Xbox X, then you had to find it and shut it off. Now there's auto, but I want you to pay close attention here to on. When you turn this on, there is a new setting called Game Motion Plus. Now Game Motion Plus is its own entity as far as making sure that you do not have any blur or judder. Now, in my case, I'm going to say, depending on what kind of gamer you are, definitely play around with these settings and see what you like. But I'm just showing you this, but shut this off for now because we are just going for movies. As far as game mode, go ahead and leave that to auto. That way you do not have to worry about switching it. Next, this is extremely important. To get the best picture, you need to make sure that HDMI UHD color is turned on. And in this TV, all 4 HDMI ports support it. Some TVs, only one of them do. In this one, all 4, so turn them all on. Next, HDMI black level. Depending on what kind of source you have coming into this, this might be grayed out, but the best setting to have it on is low. What's going to happen when it's grayed out, is it's going to be on auto. Technically, guys, auto is supposed to know whether or not the black level needs to be set to low or normal. But in this case, it allows us to set it to low. So go ahead and set that to low. Back all the way out. Bump up to picture mode, and we are on dynamic as I said before. 16:9 standard, fit to screen. Okay, so here's the thing. Generally, I say always keep this on. Now, widescreen movies that have the black bar on the top and bottom, when you turn this off, it actually will fill the screen a little bit more. So fit to screen kind of pushes the screen back. It gives you a clearer picture. And then when a movie like this, I hope you guys can see this, but when I turn it on, the black bar actually will get a little bit bigger. So look at the top, you'll see it kind of shrink. So if you have a widescreen movie, shut this off. If you do not and it's a full screen, go ahead and keep that on. Go into expert settings. Now again, we're on dynamic. We are watching HDR content. HDR content is all about the brightness, so go ahead and kick that backlight to 50. The brightness I set to -2. Again, we are getting the best picture here, so go ahead and keep the contrast on 50. Turn the sharpness to 0. Color, I have it at 40. Now this is a movie. If I was watching an animated movie and it was HDR 4K, bump that to 50. Keep the tint in the middle. Now, you see this section here where it says apply picture settings. You have all sources or you have current source. So if you want it to just be standard, dynamic, anytime you pick it on any of your HDMI, go ahead and click all sources. If you want it only for a certain HDMI because you're playing a game in that one or whatever it might be, you would click on current. But I'm going to keep this one for all. Digital clean view. Now, HDR 4K content, stuff that's coming from direct source, I shut this off. Auto motion plus off. Local dimming, I have it on high. Contrast enhancer high. HDR plus mode is off. Now again, a lot of people get confused and they think that this is actually HDR. This is Samsung's way of taking content that's not HDR and bumping it up. And they do a pretty good job, but because we have true HDR at this time, go ahead and leave that off. Color tone, now this is where it becomes preference. Now when you're on dynamic, you're only going to have cool or standard. Some people like it cool, some people like it standard. Cool to me looks a little brighter, so I leave it on cool. But again, this is just on dynamic, and on standard you'll have more options. So we'll look at that in a second. Now the rest should be grayed out, and that is dynamic. Next, we are going to go to standard. Now standard is for everyday viewing. It's for, in my opinion, if you're watching cable, or in my case, Dish Network, we leave it on standard. 16:9 fit to screen would be on in this case. Again, this is going to be usually TV, basic cable as always fills the screen. Go ahead and keep that on. Expert settings. Now, here's where we change it a little bit. Now, no HDR, bump down the backlight to 40. We're going to bump the brightness down to -3. Contrast, I want you guys to bump it down to 41. Sharpness, 0. Color, 31. Tint, dead center. Now we're going to back out here. Digital clean view. I actually recommend that you keep this on auto in this case. Now again, for cable, there's a lot of digital distortion sometimes, so go ahead and just leave that on auto. Auto motion plus, be sure to shut that off completely. Local dimming. Now, I recommend dropping this down to standard because, you're usually not getting as good as picture when you're watching regular TV. So again, standard is where you want to be. Contrast enhancer, now this is where everyone is different. Depending on what I'm watching, if I am watching the NBA, I leave this on high. If I'm just watching a basic television show that's not necessarily really crisp and colorful, I actually drop this down to low. For everything else, I usually leave it on high. I don't know if the camera picks this up very well, if you could see the difference, but we'll keep that down to low. HDR plus still off. Now, color tone. As you can see, you got cool standard, warm 1 and warm 2. The natural eye is supposedly supposed to be right where warm 2 is. This is what most people recommend. I, for whatever reason, do not like it. I don't like the yellowish color, sorry. I leave mine on standard, but I really recommend that you play with this and see what you like best. So go ahead and back out. And everything here, except for this, you see the gamma. Now, you're not going to be able to switch on regular TV. It's not going to let you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here and we're going to drop this number down to -2. And what I see from this, and this is from my own eyes, is that I get better blacks, especially as if you could still see those top bars. Those things are so black. Now at the bottom, don't mistake the glare off of my entertainment center for light in the TV. It's actually solid black. So there is standard, except there is one thing that you can play with when you're in standard, and that is you can go from native to auto. Now auto is going to not be as colorful. Native, example, if you're watching in a native and someone has a red jersey on, it's going to make it really deep red, and when you switch it to auto, it looks more realistic. So it's kind of preference, but for day-to-day viewing on regular TV, I actually prefer it on auto. Now, everything else stays the same as far as the Eco UHD color. You want to make sure all of that is done. The last one that I ever use is movie. Now, of course, movie is supposed to mimic the movie theater, and again, it's going to use warm colors. So again, these are going to be my recommendations. Because it's movie, let's just take it as you guys are going to use this for movies. Same thing with fit to screen, only if it's widescreen, you want it off. If you don't have widescreen, you want it on. Okay, so let's go ahead and just shut that off since we don't, and we will go back here. Now, we're in this mode going to drop the backlight to 39, the brightness to -1. Go ahead and leave the contrast alone. Sharpness, keep it at 0. Color, bump this up to 33. Leave the tint alone. Go ahead and auto motion, shut that off. Digital clean view, put that on off. Scroll all the way down. Local dimming, keep that on high. You notice here the contrast enhancer is off automatically. I actually like the way it looks on high when it's in movie mode, so I recommend putting it on high, but again, go ahead and look at it for yourself, see what you like. Color tone, here you go. See, automatically on warm 2, play with it. If you want to leave it on warm 2, that's fine. I always kick mine up to standard, but we'll leave it at warm 2 since that's what it's recommending. And then the last thing is go ahead and drop that gamma down to -1, and that's the ST.2084. And then we are actually going to put our color space back to native. And that's it, guys. That is the settings that I use every day in my house for watching TV. If I was to kind of categorize this for you, dynamic can be used pretty much anything 4K HDR from a direct source, and it's still going to look good. And in the old days when you would do that, it looked so awful and fake. But now the TV is just so capable that it actually makes the picture look beautiful. But you know, standard, I always keep it on standard when I'm watching cable. And then movie mode, you know, the times that I do use movie modes is when we're watching more of a darker movie. And when I say dark, I mean maybe like a horror movie where there's a lot of night scenes or just, you know, a lot of creepy dark scenes. Other than that, I actually use dynamic a lot, and 3 years ago I never used dynamic. Well, guys, that concludes the 2018 Samsung Q9 Part 3. Be on the lookout for Part 4. Don't forget to click the bell so you know when that's available. Guys, I am so humbled that you took your time and spent it watching my video. I am honored that you're here today, and I hope you will consider subscribing and mashing that thumbs up if you like this video. Technology is a small piece of life that I know makes me smile. But guys, life is so short. Don't forget to love your family, love your neighbors, go out, do something good for someone today, make someone smile. Guys, just be sure to take care of yourself and live life to the fullest. I'm JB Tech Fanatic, and I can't wait to talk to you guys in the comments and see you in the next video. Until then, stay safe, and I'll see you later. Peace.